Boy helps a mechanic repair a tractor. They hear on the radio that there is a global emergency due to solar storms. The mechanic says that this is nonsense and turns off the radio. He tells the boy that the government is hiding information and it is an alien invasion. In the meantime, a teenage girl rides her bike to see her father, who is a climatologist. She reaches a cave where her father is currently gathering data. She tells him how the temperature is changing, and her father tells her that they should be prepared for a solar flare soon. She asks her father to talk about it for her video. He agrees and explains about the disaster that might befall on them soon. Later, the girl drives to the city where she meets the boy and his mother. Mother thanks the girl for helping teach her son and asks her to take care of him. At this time, other boys arrive there and call out names to the boy. Hearing them, the mother gets angry and tells them to leave. The girl returns home from there and she finds that her father is preparing to leave for the next town. She meets him and they speak, but he is in a rush and before leaving he wants to hug his daughter, but she refuses. He departs feeling heartbroken. The next day, the boy is caught by the bullies who plan to throw him into the lake. The girl who drives by sees this and tells them to stop, but they throw the boy in and run away. The girl jumps after him and dives to catch the boy, but a solar storm strikes and engulfs the planet. The girl takes the boy out of the water and tries CPR. She notices the sky is red, but she is focused on saving the boy. Soon the boy regains consciousness and she takes him home, but they are shocked to find his home has burnt down. The boy panics and calls for his mother. However, they discover that she has passed away. Seeing the flame grow, the girl pulls him away. They don't find anyone else around, so the girl takes him to her house. Following that, the two spend the day trudging and braving the severe blizzard to reach Dara's cave. Once inside, Alba unlocks a trunk containing her father's goods and divides them among themselves. Alba and Didac leave the cave the next morning to visit her home. Alba bursts into tears as she finds their house in ruins. They take safety in her father's farmhouse. Alba quickly tries to use the phone and instructs Didac to check the radio. After finding that the phone isn't working, she swiftly attempts to use Dara's laptop, which is also broken. Fortunately, the solar charger remains operational. She attempts to call Dara using her smartphone, but the man does not respond, much to Alba's dismay. As a result, the two decide to walk out and seek aid. Alba and Didac witness the city's devastation and emptiness. Didac walks to the police car and gets a pistol from the trunk. He presents it to Alba, who promptly urges the youngster to return it. Alba abruptly informs Didac that they must depart and will relocate to Barcelona. Alba attempts to ride a motorcycle, but Didac pushes her from behind. Alba collides with the rubble and collapses. When she falls, her flank is stabbed by a metal and she bleeds. Didac apologizes and they agree to return to Alba's home. Alba awakens during the night owing to agony from her wound. After cleaning it, she goes through their earlier images, feeling emotional. The following day, Alba reads her father's diary for the first time. She discovers that Dara is correct in asserting that Earth has been warning us. She then begins another video diary, claiming that she is filming it to keep herself sane. She also expresses sadness that no one came to save them. She abruptly terminates the video. Alba has a fever that night, which Didac manages. The kid tries to make small chat, but Alba remains unresponsive. Didac checks her wound and finds it infected. Alba faintly informs him that she requires antibiotics, so he decides to obtain them. Before he can go, Alba stops him and says she will fetch them herself because it is hazardous outdoors. Didac touches Alba's chest, curious about her heartbeat. Alba feels weak and goes back to sleep. Didac kisses Alba's forehead and encourages her not to leave him. Without hesitation, he leaves the farmhouse and puts on his equipment. Despite his fear, he summoned confidence and rode his bike to get Alba's antibiotics. Didac receives the drug around morning. He quickly injects it into Alba, hoping for a speedy recovery. Then he returns to his prior house, crying for his loss. Later, he sneaks into the mechanic's workshop to check the tractor. The morning arrives, and Alba feels better. Didac awakens as she checks on her wound and is happy to find her recovery. He instantly embraces her and kisses her cheek. Alba begs Didac to see her wound once he lets go. Didac confirms that her wound has healed, resulting in a large scar. Despite this, Alba remains positive, telling the kid that she likes tattoos and scars because they tell excellent stories. Alba resumes her video diary at night, revealing her plans to visit Barcelona. However, she is concerned that she and Dara will not meet once they arrive. Didac wakes up with a nightmare. He awakens and shouts out for Alba, but she is nowhere to be seen. When he looks at the bedsheet, he sees blood and panics, believing that something awful has happened to her. As a result, he rides his bicycle to seek for her. He sees Alba along the river and inquires as to whether a guy has harmed her. This perplexes Alba, who instead disputes his supposition. Didac noticed blood on Alba's thighs and inquired about it. Alba reveals that the blood is from her period. Didac requires more explanation due to his being unfamiliar with the subject. Didac asks Alba whether she wants children after learning her ability to conceive. Alba offers him an uncertain response and just sprays him with water. Didac fights back and spends a few seconds playing with water. Alba has no idea that the water has soaked her top, revealing her bosom. Didac's curiosity leads him to touch her chest. Alba swats his hand, telling him it is wrong. Then she instructs him to come home. After a few days, Didac practiced his aim, but the commotion alerted Alba, who quickly stopped him. She inquires about where he got the pistol. Didac explains that he took it from the police cruiser. Alba asks him to leave the gun because she does not want him to be wounded. Didac believes he must exercise his aim as the house's guardian. Alba thinks this is foolishness, so she instructs him to put the pistol down. Despite complying, Didac marches away, causing irritation. Alba's chance of being rescued fades after 3 months. As a result, the two of them learn how to maintain themselves using Dara's survival handbook. Alba keeps a video journal of their adventure. She considers her camera her greatest friend and utilizes it to show how they adjust to their present environment. Over the years, Didac has seen significant changes. He develops into a strong, dependable, and beautiful young man. Alba notices the changes and can't ignore her peculiar feelings for him. Didac gradually develops a new perspective on Alba. Didac uses binoculars to view his surroundings while on the ledge of the water tank one day. Suddenly, his focus shifts to Alba, who is watering the plants. He notices Alba disrobing and immersing herself in water owing to the heat. Didac's eyes are drawn to her bare back as he witnesses this. Alba invites Didac to help her knead the dough, which challenges their interpersonal dynamics. Didac is unskilled, so Alba teaches the method, culminating in an innocent skinship. Didac is overcome with emotion and rushes to kiss Alba before leaving. Despite being stunned, Alba smiles. Alba and Didac's garden is devastated by a powerful storm at night. Alba attempts to save the garden beds, but the devastation is too extensive. As a result, the two decide to leave their current location the next day. Alba is shocked to watch Didac's effective restoration of the tractor while using her phone. She joyfully hugs the young man. After packing their stuff, the two continue their trek to Barcelona. When they arrive at their location, Didac honks the tractor horn while Alba phones her father's phone. Despite their best attempts, Dara has disappeared. Alba feels distraught, and Didac consoles her. This prompts Alba to confide in him, and she admits regrets not touching her father before he departed. She warns Didac that they may no longer be able to find him. Didac stays positive and encourages her to continue the hunt. Alba grins and finally agrees with him. Moments later, the two arrive in the middle of town, but there are no survivors. As a result, they fly to Barcelona's iconic Camp Nou stadium and stay for a time. Despite its disrepair, Didac enthusiastically enters and admires it. He gets his football and immediately starts performing his acrobatics. When he calls for Alba, the young woman enthusiastically cheers for him. Alba promises to capture Didac's core memory if he scores a goal. Didac performs his kick and scores a goal. The young man cheerfully celebrates his accomplishment and strikes his distinctive happy attitude. Alba is distracted by the fact that his body is exposed in this stance, so she drops the phone. She quickly gets the phone off the ground before things get out of hand. Alba strikes a discussion with Didac to alleviate the uneasy atmosphere at night. Despite their conversations, they are unable to avoid their attraction to each other. Alba kisses Didac, and he responds. This leads to them making love all night. After a few days, the couple leaves the city to start a new life by the sea. Alba announces her pregnancy to Didac, who joyously carries and hugs her. Alba visits an abandoned library to gather literature about parenthood in preparation for her pregnancy. Didac collects presents for their unborn kid. When he reunites with Alba, he checks on her and asks what she is reading. Alba admits that she is looking for a suitable name for their child. Didac recommends naming the kid Mar. However, Alba believes Kai is more appropriate because it means sea in Hawaiian and is gender neutral. Didac agrees upon receiving this information. Months pass, and the couple gets more involved in providing a pleasant life for their unborn kid. Alba's pregnant bump becomes more obvious as her due date approaches. One night, while reading her father's diary, a sharp, excruciating cramp interrupts her activity. Despite her hardships, she gathers her strength and approaches Didac. When she informs Didac that their baby is on its way, he helps her choose a suitable position to give birth. Didac calmly directs Alba's breathing when she lies down. Despite the anguish, the young woman follows his directions and goes into labor. After a few pushes, Alba gives birth to their son, Kai. The next morning, while the couple is caring for Kai, Alba observes a yacht near the shore. Alba enthusiastically goes to check, hoping to find survivors. However, a suspicious Didac dismisses the proposal, stating that they don't need anyone. Despite his anger, Alba places Kai in his crib and attempts to capture the captain's attention. However, Alba receives no response. Instead, she finds an unconscious guy lying on the shore. Didac follows her as she hurries to check on her father, believing he is there. Didac checks out the man, only to discover he is not Dara. When the guy regains consciousness, he describes how he ended up on the couple's shore by mistake. He is delighted to see the couple and their child, since he previously believed he was the only survivor. He also compliments the couple's home and enthusiastically tells them about the island he lives on. However, he claims that he spent much of his time on his boat searching for more survivors. When Alba learns this, she asks him to stay with them. Didac's antagonism is visible in his expression, even though he does not speak. As a result, he ignores Alba's offer and insists on staying on his yacht. Before leaving, he asks the two for a hug because he hasn't had any human contact in a while. After being hugged, the man is unable to manage his feelings and leaves quickly. The guy helps the couple improve their survival abilities, with a concentration on Didac. Despite their developing closeness, Didac is wary of the man. One morning, as Alba is feeding Kai, the man discreetly observes her without her awareness. Didac discovers him in the act and confronts him. However, the man claims that he is only watching Alba's predicament and intends to offer her honey to alleviate her nursing agony. Alba understands and appreciates the man's wonderful gesture. He explains that the honey is unique because it was made by his own bees, who eat on a blossom that resembles a rooster's crest. Alba shows interest in the man's narrative, but Didac does not. He tells him his boat is ready, hinting that Didac wants him to go. Hearing this, the man's smile fades and he declares his departure. Even after hearing this, Alba demands that the man stay. He suddenly invites them to a party on his yacht this evening. He expresses that he is grateful for the couple's compassion in celebrating the new humanity. Alba is ecstatic and agrees to meet him later. Alba and the guy enjoy the night on the boat, but Didac remains alone and broods. The guy offers the two to stay the night, but Didac declines. Alba seeks to convince Didac to let her sleep on the boat. The man immediately presents his surprise, an antique movie projector. After many years, the pair can finally enjoy a movie. The next day, Didac wakes up first and notices something peculiar. He stands up and realizes they're too far from the coast. As a result, he attempts to alert Alba. Despite his efforts, the guy rapidly hits Didac and causes him to tumble into the sea. Alba becomes concerned about her lover after hearing the loud splash of Didac's fall. Alba prepares to save Didac by diving into the sea, like she has previously done. The man attempts to stop her, but Alba dismisses him. Alba saves Didac, but the pair loses Kai as he sails away. Left with no other alternative, the two return to their home, dissatisfied. Moments later, the couple looks out over the water, wishing for their kid. Alba resolves to reclaim Kai. The next day, the two go to the abandoned library to look for information regarding the man's island. Alba, on the other hand, cries out in exasperation since she has no idea where to begin. Fortunately, while helping Didac mend a boat, she discovers the rooster emblem on the door. She recalls that the man's bees eat on a flower that resembles a rooster's crest. As a result, they rush back to the library to explore botanical literature. After a few searches, Alba discovers the flower and the man's whereabouts. The next morning, the couple sets off on their quest to rescue their kid. With their efforts, the pair eventually arrives to the island. While going, they hear Kai's screams and follow them, which leads them to the man's fort. Alba looks through a hole and investigates Kai's likely whereabouts. Alba, who is scared, asks Didac to shoot the man as he walks. Didac resists because he fears the man is not alone and they will be overcome. A few seconds later, the man reappears and heads to his bee farm. This allows the two to track Kai's screams. Alba enters an underground tent and finds her kid imprisoned in a cage. She attempts to break the lock, but is unsuccessful. As a result, she searches the entire area for the keys. Meanwhile, Didac serves as a watchdog to buy Alba some time. Alba discovers a pair of keys while searching through a tray and instantly attempts to open the lock. Unfortunately, nothing works. Therefore, she walks outdoors and meets with Didac. She informs him about Kai's condition, which upsets him. They therefore trade roles. Alba serves as a guard, but Kai's tears weaken her and cause her to lose concentration. As a consequence, the man creeps up behind her and snatches her. Didac emerges and recognizes Alba as the man's hostage. Despite his helplessness, Didac obeys his directions. Afterward, the guy confines the pair with hammocks. While securing his traps, he informs Didac that he hopes for a pleasant relationship with them, but he dislikes the young guy. Didak threatens to murder him after hearing this, which enrages the guy even more. Before things get out of hand, Alba bargains with him to let her go with her kid, and she promises to welcome him into their family. The man promptly accepts her offer and sets her free. However, the man refuses to let her off the hook. He informs her that she must obey his directions or she would die. Alba agrees, and they proceed to Kai's place. Alba rushes into the tent and approaches Kai, but the man stops her. He advises her that she should let him weep occasionally and remarks that his cries sound like melody. Because Alba remained mute, the guy simply hands her the key. Alba goes to Kai and starts nursing him. While Alba is feeding her infant, the man watches her, making her feel uncomfortable. The man quickly exits with a smirk. The guy returns to Didak's place to mock him. Alba flees with her kid without his knowledge. When the guy notices her, he screams at her, while Didak encourages her to continue her flight. Instead of pursuing them, the guy teases Didak more. The young man responds by spitting at him. Angered, the guy tricks Didak. He uses pliers to twist Didak's crotch. Didak's agonizing anguish drives him to yell, halting Alba in her tracks. After a few seconds, Didak goes unconscious, and the guy searches for Alba. When the young woman sees him outdoors, she runs away. While escaping, she accidentally leaves her scarf behind, giving the man a hint. After finding a spot to hide, she uses her pinky finger to calm Kai. She continues to run, convinced that the man is going in another way. When Kai starts weeping again, Alba hides beneath a tree root and comforts him. She suddenly senses the man's presence and devises a cunning plot. As the guy shouts for Alba, he hears Kai's cries underneath him and walks down to investigate, only to discover that the sound originates from Kai's recorded footage. He wastes no time and rushes back to his apartment. Alba successfully returns to Didak and attempts to set him free. Didak, struggling, pleads for a knife. However, the man's abrupt appearance disrupts their plans. Alba apologizes to him and prepares to return to the tent, but he stops her. He urges her to place her kid back in the cot. Then he approaches her, reminding Alba of her transgression. As punishment, he shoots her in the leg. Despite Alba's admonition, Didak manages to escape. He takes this chance to stab the man in the back. However, the man manages to smack him, and the two fight. Although injured, Alba snatches the revolver and threatens to shoot the man. This does not bother him. Rather, he guilt trips her. Alba, unaffected, shoots him in the shoulder, and he assaults her. Alba then falls down the tent. Didak rushes to her rescue, fighting the guy with a hoe. However, the guy deflects his attack with a pitchfork. The two continue to battle until they both lose their weapons. The guy immediately gets the rifle, while Didak grabs a scythe. After hearing Kai's cry, Didak attacks, prompting the guy to shoot him. He successfully kills the guy, but he is also aware that his own death is close. So he approaches his son and kisses him for the last time. A sobbing Alba approaches him, but before he can say goodbye, he collapses on the ground, gasping for oxygen. Alba immediately attempts to stem the bleeding, but Didak passes dead. Alba tosses Didak's body into the water while mourning his death during the night. After a few years, Alba and Kai return to her old home. Kai has developed into a healthy youngster who enjoys football, much like his father. After playing, he attempts to grab Alba's phone, but she stops him, fearing he may smash it. Instead, she sits Kai on her lap and they talk about Didak's video diaries. Don't forget to subscribe before you watch the next recap. Thanks for watching.